from Tampa, Florida, where reports are flooding in about Hillary Clinton talking to the dead through some mystic. More government waste. She could have just gone to Sun City Center personally and saved some money. This is the Bob Lassiter Show, starring industry legend and all-around nice guy, Mad Dog Lassiter, and featuring the budding young talent we've all grown to love, Flounder, along with budget haircut boy, Big Daddy Don Richards in the newsroom. And now, Mr. Lassiter.
We've all grown to love? Yeah. 8 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. A very good Monday to you, fun seekers. Monday, June the 24th, 1996, of course. I am Lassiter. After 10 long years, it's actually closer to 11, I can still dominate talk radio in this town. The mere mention of my name can carry for 3 hours on someone else's show. Probably will carry over tomorrow morning, too, but that's okay. Nobody else can do that. Nobody else ever could. I am good. God, I'm good. I am the best, clearly. I am the magnificent Lassiter, and no one else is. No one else is. I think in view of what went on this radio station this morning, we should spend the next 3 hours with calls glorifying me. Nah. Could, but we won't. But I do think that maybe we should talk seriously. I think we should talk seriously. I do have an agenda, you know. Do you know what my agenda is? I'm going to share it with you. I of course, have stated publicly, I've stated privately, I want to change this radio station. I want to change this format. And methinks that it has already started to happen. I'm very pleased about that. This station, this format, is not going to survive as long as it's considered to be the personal playground of the malcontents of this area or any other area. It's not that I'm trying to drive the malcontents away. Good God, no, anything but. On the contrary. You see, I want them to just really take part across the board, not just gather at one particular time period for some kind of group support and reinforcement. This station, this format, just ain't going to survive, not being the personal playground of some people. I don't want this station to become the radio counterpart to professional wrestling. I don't think anybody does. But that's what it is. And it ain't our fault. It's not our fault at all. It's yours. Because, you see, you guys are the ones who make it that way. You guys are the ones who hear what you want to hear, make up what you didn't hear, and then carry it from there. You are the ones who are involved in this life and death struggle between the forces of good and the forces of evil. You are the ones who live in a world of villains and good guys, not us. I mean, if you insist, we're going to rub your nose in it, which is what we did over the weekend. And we're going to do it again, too, by the way. We're going to keep on doing it until you catch on. That I and everybody else here are human beings doing a job. And basically, we do nothing but react in kind to what we get from you. Period. I mean, obviously, we each have our own personalities. In my case, I'm the card-carrying cynic, intolerant of any kind of bullcrap or anything that I suspect is bullcrap. Brian James, happy-go-lucky kind of guy, just trying to make it through the world. Probably misses his pant leg half the time in the morning like I do, like you do. Larson, basically a decent man, if a little bit, a tad retentive. We would all prefer to come in here and just sit down and shoot the breeze with you. But you see, the problem is you won't let us. You have created these images that we have to live up to. And if we don't, you let us dangle and twist slowly in the wind. It becomes very unpleasant, very ugly. So each of us has to go further than we would like to go to get you guys to play the game. And it's a game that you have designed, a game that you have constructed, written the rules to. I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it one more time. It's the most profound story for me in my career. It was a major turning point. I was working at WPLP. Didn't expect to be there very long. Didn't really make much difference. I was experimenting, doing wild and crazy things. And we were called into the general manager's office, we, the air staff, one day. And the general manager announced that they had just completed a secret focus group study that they had videotaped, and this is normally something that would not be shown to station personnel, but the general manager was going to show it to us because he wanted us to see what we were doing wrong. And so they had these hours worth of videotapes of people sitting around one of these folding tables in a room someplace, a cheap motel they had rented. And these people were being asked various different questions by the moderator, and they were never told that it was WPLP that was paying for the focus group. But they were just being asked all kinds of questions about radio, some of them really having nothing whatsoever to do with PLP or talk, just to kind of confuse them, and then every now and then they'd slip one in about talk. And this one group, the group that I remember, this was the one that the general manager really wanted us to see. This one group, the guys sitting around the table were asked about Bruce Williams. And they all sat there, rigid, with their hands folded, literally in front of them, talking as though they were some type of robots. Bruce Williams is good. Bruce Williams is great. I listen to him all the time. Bruce Williams helps me. Bruce Williams is intelligent. Bruce Williams is good. And suddenly, it dawned on the moderator that, like we're coming to the end of the hour, and nobody has mentioned PLP. Nobody. Not a soul. Nobody indicated that they ever listened. And we're really pissed. We'd spent a lot of money for this that we didn't have, and they kept saying what a great station FLA was, and what a great guy Bruce Williams was. And so finally, the moderator. So what about WP? What about that Lassiter guy on PLP? And all of a sudden, these men who had been sitting there rigid with their hands folded, they became animated and agitated. And one of them slammed his hand on the desk and said, "I don't believe that son of a bitch is number one. He can't be number one. Last night he said." At that point, the general manager said, You see, they love Bruce Williams, Bob. And I said, You see, George. His name was George Yoakum. But they listen to me. I had sat there quietly for almost 2 years at WPLP trying to find my niche in the marketplace. And one day, quite to my surprise, I opened up a ratings book and I found out that I was the highest rated talk show host in the market. And I went in that night and I just absolutely crowed shamelessly. I'm number one. And I did it every night because I knew instinctively in my heart it would piss people off to no end. I'm telling you the story again for a reason. With a bit of luck, in just about 1 month from now, and keep in mind that I'm spelling this out for you, pointing this out to you. With a bit of luck, in just about 1 month from now, I will come in here and announce that I am once more King of the Hill, by far and away. Now, this does matter to me. It matters to me a great deal. It's money in my pocket. There's a bit of ego involved. There's a bit of pride involved. But frankly, it means nothing to you one way or the other. I mean, your life is no better off if I fail. Your life is no better off if I succeed. One way or the other, it has no effect on your life. I will do it, and I will make a very big deal out of it because it will drive some of you up the wall. Presumably because you don't have lives. I don't believe that son of a bitch is number one. Unless I'm very sadly mistaken, and I'm not. Not only will you be angry, not only will you slam the table in front of you, not only will you talk back to the radio, but the following day, some of you will call Larson and complain to him. Some of you will call Brian and complain to him. You will bitch and you will moan about it, and I will sit at home just loving it. Eating it all up. And I'm telling you that I'm going to do it. I'm giving you a month's warning. I'm telling you when. I'm telling you how. And I'm telling you how you will react. I think we ought to talk about what happened last week.
When all this talk about Hillary and mystic, weird, psychic phenomena starts floating in the air.
When the going gets weird.
We get the amazing Randy on the phone.
The weird call Brian.
Somebody just needs to tell her quit talking to dead people.
Right, and she has to have Eleanor Roosevelt tell her, or Mahatma Gandhi. I'm glad she didn't speak with Jesus, because Jesus probably would have said, lady, get a grip and get a life.
Brian James, weekdays at 4 on 970 WFLA. Frightening.
Carlisle Ford, I wish it was, but it's not the only place in town for you to go and buy a new Ford car or truck or van or sport utility. There are lots of Ford dealerships. Carlisle Ford. Why Carlisle Ford over any of the others? Well, it's frankly what you guys have decided. You see, Carlisle Ford has been named the #1 dealer in this area for sales and service satisfaction. They've been named the #1 dealer by you, their customers, and of course by the Ford Motor Company. It's why people drive from all over the area to deal with Carlisle Ford. It's why they drive past a lot of other Ford dealerships, because Carlisle Ford is #1 in sales and service satisfaction. Their customers say so, the Ford Motor Company says so, and I couldn't say so if it wasn't the truth. Carlisle Ford, great selection of new vehicles, and a very good selection right now, too, by the way, of quality trade-ins after that big sales promotion they had this spring. You can buy them with confidence because every single one of them has gone through a rigid 25-point inspection to ensure quality and what else? Customer satisfaction. Carlisle Ford. They're located on US 19 between 22nd and 38th Avenues in St. Petersburg. Seekers, it is time for the 6th annual Run Through Hell. What, are we doing another one of those listener lunches again? Oh, this is different? Oh, yeah, it's the 5K run at the Al Lopez Park in Tampa Sunday morning at 8 a.m. There will be great food, giveaways, and, of course, massages at the post-race party. You can call Florida Race Place Magazine for more information at 874-7223. The Run Through Hell from the Thompson Company via Veneto and 970 WFLA. Okay, so let's talk about what happened let's start with last Friday. What the hell happened last Friday? Nothing. Nothing happened last Friday. Just a little fun at the expense of the people who deserve it. I've told you, and it applies to this show, it applies to every show. It applies to this radio station, it applies to every talk station in every part of the country. This station is what you people make it. I get the money, but you people are the stars. And some of you make it an interesting place to be because you're fools, and some of you make it an interesting place to be because you have a good sense of humor, and some of you don't make it an interesting place to be because you're morons, dull. But let's start with first things first. WFLA, what the hell is it? It's a business, baby. Plain, simple, period. It is a business. It is a big business. It is worth a hell of a lot of money. There are some people that have very, very serious money tied up in this radio station. There are 50, 60, 70, 80 people whose livelihoods depend on this radio station. A lot of families, decent people, taxpayers, homeowners, a couple of airheads, but by and large, good people. It's not some kind of a rallying point for conservatives or anyone else. It never has been. It never will be. It's never what it was intended to be. And it's never what it has been. The people who work here are like people everywhere. Some of them are cool. Some of them aren't. Some of them are really hip. Some of them aren't. Some of them are political. Some of them aren't. They're just people. Normal, everyday people. Like the kind of people that work at the insurance agency, the kind of people that work at, the factory, the kind of people that work at the car dealership. Just normal people. Within these walls are rivalries and competition. Healthy rivalries, healthy competition. There are people who are friends. There are people who aren't all that close. But we all have one goal in mind, and that goal is to succeed. We all wish each other well. We are not at each other's throats. Nobody wants to succeed at the expense of someone else on the staff. Oh, I grant you that each of us wants to do a little bit better than the other people on the staff, but not at their expense, not at the expense of the radio station. Our job is to get listeners and to sell advertising time, period. That's it. It is not to promote any views or philosophies, any political parties, any political candidates, any House Resolution number 5753s. And we have never misled anybody on this point. Ever. We say it all the time, over and over and over again. Hey, dude, it's just a radio show. Lighten up, get a life. People are brought into this radio station or they're shown the door based on their ability to entertain, based on their ability to deliver listeners, period. Not based on their political views, not based on their philosophies, not based on whether they believe in God or they don't believe in God, not based on whether they part their hair on the right side or the left side, but based on whether or not they can deliver an audience. Because that's what we purvey. That's what we sell, an audience. Some of the people who listen to the station, to this format, don't quite get it. They never have. Even though no one has ever tried to deceive them. They think that there is some great struggle going on here between the forces of good and the forces of evil, the forces of one side over the forces of the other side. Well, there ain't. There never has been. Might be in your mind, but there isn't in ours. And to be as blunt with you as I know how to be, we are amused by the diehards. We are amused by the people who just don't quite get it. We sit around and laugh at you. The people on the right at the radio station and the people on the left, we sit here and laugh at you. Slap our thighs and say, man, do you believe that? A boss will come out of his office and say, God, look at this one, I just got an email, whoa! And pass it around and we laugh, to put it politely. So last Monday, a week ago today at about 8:50 in the morning, I wandered in here to sit down to do Larson's show. It was no secret. Larson had said the entire week prior to that he would be away. He had mentioned any number of times that I would be sitting in for him. I'm in the control room. Trika says, you want to go in and do the crossover with Jack and Ted? I said, no, but if you really want me to, I will. So I wander in, say something flippant. I don't know. Don't even remember what the hell it was. By the time I get back into the control room, those phones were loaded. I don't want to hear him. I'm going to boycott the station if you put him on. You take him off right now. I wasn't even on yet. On our call-in lines. Okay. So I come in here and I sit down and I do a little bit of a monologue and I look over and, bam, there are the call-in lines. There's poor Jeff on the other side of the glass just frantically answering phones. Not people who want to go on the air, not people who would listen to anything that I had to say, not people who wanted to participate in any shape, manner, or form, but people who somehow think that they own the goddamn radio station. People who somehow really think that we give a crap what they think with their rantings and their ravings. We care very much what you think, but not when you're ranting and raving. Then we frankly just don't give a crap. Especially when you're saying all kinds of stupid things. And so, I can't do a show like that. Can't do a show if the phone lines are all tied up. This is a telephone call-in show. Well, I ain't a puppy in this business. I've been around a long time. I've been around a real long time. And so I warned the audience. I said, hey, you're not going to get away with this. No way, no how. You're going to keep calling off the air? Think again. Because he doesn't have to answer the phones. I'll answer them. Live. On the air. It adds a great element of excitement and mystery and danger to the show. It really makes it much better. And it also puts an end to that kind of crap, and so that's what I ended up doing for virtually the entire show on Monday. Just responding to irrational people, most of them filled with hate, most of them quite rude, saying terrible things to me, and then getting very pissed at me for responding in kind. And then getting very pissed at me for defeating them in defeating me. So then they started calling the business lines. They didn't care that there are 80 or 90 people that depend on this facility and our phones to make a living. They didn't care. For hours, you couldn't make a call out from this building. For hours, they in essence shut down the sales staff so that they could bitch and moan and tell somebody, a receptionist, a clerk, whoever the hell was funneled the call, how much they disliked what was going on, like we were really jotting it down and keeping track. Most of them, I'm sorry to say, were older than dirt. And frankly, we don't care. And except for the poor people who were harassed and hassled by it, the rest of us were sitting around laughing our fool asses off.